else to me. Well, my daddy never wrote any old famous country songs. Papa never stayed out raising hell with the Haggard Jones. But he raised a proud coal miner's daughter, and I'm proud to be her son. She told me, boy, I don't care if you hit it big, because you're already number one. And that's the way it goes in this day and age. Well, you ain't gotta read between the lines, now you just gotta turn the page. Well, the most outlaw thing that a man today can do is give a woman a ring, and that's the way it goes. Life ain't fair and the world is mean. Well, I still got the wife and my dog, but I swapped the truck out for a van. Gonna hit the road, find the end of that long white line with a three-piece band. You won't hear my song on the radio, see me on the CMA, but you can always find me in a smoky bar with bad sound and a dim-lit stage. 'Cause that's the way it goes in this day and age.
Listen anywhere, anytime. All your music, no interruptions. YouTube Red.
Well, I've been spending all my money on weed and pills, trying to write a song that'll pay the bills, but it ain't came yet. Guess I have to rob a bank. I guess it could be worse, ain't that bad. At least I ain't sitting no Baghdad in the middle of the hot day of death, sitting in a tank. Well, time the wife talks, so baby gets mentioned. I'm so broke, I can't pay attention. Lord, how it tears me up to have to see her crying. Oh, I've been spending all my nights on the internet, looking for a clue but ain't found one yet. Just a bunch of Mopars, guitars, and other shit I can't find. Well, now, Lord, if you can hear me, won't you throw a damn dog a bone? If a devil shows up with a deader deal, this whole soul's going down. Oh, I sing 'em real pretty, sing 'em real sad, and all the people in the crowd say, ain't that bad? Well, now call me King Turd up here on Shit Mountain. If you want it, you can have a crown. Well, I've been sitting on my ass like a bump on a log, watching Andy and old Boss Hall.
All right,
get up and go
here
out.
we go. Shush it down there, Sergil Simpson. All right, I can still hear it. You guys can't hear it. One sec. There we go. That's better. Let me make sure I got everything up here. All right, guys, welcome. Sorry for all the delays. I look like a hot mess too. I've been cleaning and picking shit up and dealing with shit all day, and it's not necessarily the best of weather outside. It's hot as usual here, so yeah, it's been a little bit crazy day, but I definitely wanted to do this. Was definitely been looking forward to it. It's our second show in 3 days. I think I did one Friday or Thursday, either way. Second show this week. We'll be going over some signing stuff, definitely starting in Division 1 AA. I know I said I was going to cover them last time, and I never got around to it. So we will go ahead and, start with them. I'm probably not going to go through new coach signups because if you go to Wilkinson Central, both Jag and Husker Fan put together a great little synopsis of all the conferences, new coaches, how it impacted them, who's going to do well, who's not going to do well, winners and losers for conferences, so forth, so forth. Really good write-up, so I definitely recommend you check it out if you're interested in that. But what we will do is kind of take a look at these teams and go through and see who's doing well recruiting. Already kind of posted my thoughts on Alex's team. I think he needed 15 or so recruits. His top 7 are pretty good Division 1A recruits, not taking in potential. They only did 1A. I only did 1A. That is correct. So I'm gonna go to Division. Oh no, they did Division 1 AA. Go relook at it. Jag mashed it up and added some. I get your statement now. My bad, Rodney. Go relook at it. He added some 1 AA and went through it, and we'll kind of check in with some of those new teams throughout the season. But anyways, I digress. So Vice Rule at Texas Southern. Pretty solid recruiting class. Definitely had a little bit too big for his britches there, and recruited some guys who are definitely Division 1A talent, especially in a loaded world like this. So I think he got burned a little bit. But really what I want to look at is, I think Duke Legend. I always call him Duke England. I don't know why that name is so stupid for me. All right, so Duke Legend at William & Mary, solid team. He definitely said he felt the impact going on, with all the new movement up to Division 1 AA or Division 1A, in his area. And you can kind of see that, his classes are definitely usually a lot better than this. I'm not going to say this is a terrible class, but this is not up to Duke Legend's par. Especially some of these bottom guys. I mean, DBs are always going to be lower when it comes to the cores, right, and what their guess ratings are. But these are, a little bit lower even for his take. But, he did get some solid guys. He only needed 10. He got 10 signed. So, I mean, it's really not going to hurt him too much in the long run. We'll see what happens there. And then let's go to Bab's team. Oh, this can't be right. I think Babs is a little AWOL right now. He needed 14. He's got 2 signed. So, his first year at San Diego. Looks like he'll be playing catch up next season. Shouldn't hurt him too bad. He's a great coach. Let's look at Phi. Oh, that's Phil. Well, Phil's team pulled up at Maryland. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I think I have to go lowercase. There we go. All right, Phi Matau. Needed 12, has 12 signed. Very solid Division I AA class just by looking at the... Can you guys see everything okay? Here, let me try to... I think that's the best we're going to get there. Definitely really solid Division I AA class just looking at the cores. He signed, some really good offensive and defensive linemen, which I definitely see a lot out of him. Really good wide receiver here in Gabriel Mitchell. And it looks like he signed everybody fairly close. Yeah, I mean, the one guy he signed far away was a linebacker, I'm guessing was a fill-in for another linebacker. And actually, after the first cycle, me and him were on a linebacker, so maybe that was kind of a fill-in for him. Coming in pretty low, so yeah, he probably just grabbed a sim guy there. But everybody else is pretty decent. One thing I do notice is he did not recruit a quarterback. I personally, no matter how many quarterbacks I have, no matter what age they are or what class they're going to be in, I definitely like to recruit one every year, right? I want to make sure I have that experience, that they're getting the practice time, and by the time that they are in their 4th or 5th season, depending on if you redshirt them, and I always do mine, they're going to be at their max potential, right? So I definitely think I don't want to say you hurt yourself, but I definitely think you're missing out by not grabbing a quarterback every year, but that's just my personal opinion. We'll see how that affects him in the next couple seasons. I see Crondon in chat, so we'll go ahead and pull his up. He's been doing a great job recruiting the last couple seasons. We'll kind of see where his rank is, at the end of it when recruiting's all wrapped up. But, he stayed really close except for a couple guys. At least one guy they signed was 1,400 miles away. Of course, just like Jag kind of mentioned in his article on Wilkinson Central, in the Big Sky, there's 2 really good recruiting areas, right? There's California and there's Texas. Texas, even though there's a ton of Division 1A teams, there's still a ton of Division 1 AA talent there. So, there's a lot of recruits to grab from. California isn't as crowded, I think, as Texas, and probably has more recruits. So he does a pretty good job. But, he needed 10. Like I said, he signed 9, so he's trying to figure out what the last guy is, maybe looking for an upgrade. Had 14 considering him, so he was never in danger of taking a sim. And it's not a terrible class. I mean, it's definitely top-heavy with kind of the first 3 guys. Some of these guys down here that are rated a little bit lower aren't necessarily bad, and they might end up being good. I mean, this guy's got a 56 worth ethic, and if you look along the board, kind of a common theme in his classes is he does look for guys that have high work ethic, so that's cool. So if they have good potential, they end up being pretty high guys. Now, a couple things I don't like is his best player is an offensive lineman. He's got very low GPA, so his formation IQ is never going to be that good. Same with this defensive lineman, and same with this defensive back, which, your formation IQs would be really big there. But he did grab a quarterback with decent cores, 3.6 GPA, but with a low work ethic. So we'll see what happens with this class in the next, 4 seasons or so and where they end up, but definitely not a bad class coming out of him. Another coach we like to look at, and actually, let's see who's in chat. If I could type. Okay. Husker fan 26, the Maze Rider himself. And we have so many Husker fans that we have to... Oh, I hope if I do this right. All right, Husker fan 26. This is obviously not a Division I AA team, but this is a Division 1A team, and it is at Akron, a non-BCS team. And he did pretty well. He needed 13, has 12 signed, and he is doing well. Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 great offensive linemen. Those guys are all going to be good. The top 2, probably the top 3 are probably all going to be in the 80s by the time they are going to be juniors and seniors for sure. He's got some decent skilled positions. And then it kind of drops off from there. Obviously, this wide receiver, hopefully he's high potential. His cores aren't too bad. Definitely would like to see some more athleticism there. Does have decent work ethic, so that's always nice. And then you move down the list. He did get a quarterback, which is nice. But, I mean, starting off at 59 is not doing him any justice. But he's got a 67 work ethic. Husker fan, do you care to share what his potential is? Because obviously if that guy's potential, he's probably definitely going to end up in the 70s as far as a guess rating goes by the time he's a junior or senior. So that could end up being a very, very solid win for him. It was only 91 miles away, so he probably didn't have to spend very money. So be interesting to see. He's in a couple battles. I think he said in chat he was taking on 3 Sims, but no bull money in Akron, Ohio. Definitely a very good starting class. All right, let's see who else is in chat. Above average. Perfect. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a pretty solid wide receiver. I mean, not the best, but he should get the work done. Jen's in chat, so let's go see how he's doing in his recent move to North Carolina. Another first-season coach with no bowl money. Right now he's battling for an offensive lineman against a sim, which, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win. He is going to, obviously, sorry, I was reading chat at the same time I was talking. I'm a little tired, too. Hopefully he's ahead on that and pretty far ahead, because obviously we know Sims can really suck you dry if you let him hang on there. So, but that would definitely be a good add-on. Got a great running back here in Richard Childress. He's got 90, 90, 75 in elusiveness. He's got decent hands, and not the best hands at 66, and low work ethic but high GPA. So definitely not a very bad running back there. I mean, it's definitely solid, especially in his first season. He got a good wide receiver here in this guy, in James Hernandez, only 64 miles away. 84, 89, 81, 28, where it's a little bit low there. High technique and high athleticism. I really like that wide receiver. I like that. That's big. That guy's going to definitely be good for him going in the future. And then, he just rounded out the class with more solid people, right? There's nothing too crazy here. This offensive lineman, unless he's high potential, probably isn't going to be that good even by the time he's a junior or senior, but we'll see. And he's got some decent defensive backs. But really the big win for him are going to be the offensive lineman and the skilled positions he broke up, or he was able to get. And, yeah, they should really help him moving forward. So congrats to him. And really, if you look, I'm guessing he did this move because look at all these guys he got that were close, right? They're all within his 360 pretty much, except for a couple guys that he probably stole from some Sims that were out a little farther. So it sounds like he's having at least a decent time there with this first recruiting class, and kudos to him. All right, AWAGS, let's see what you did at Alabama. I think AWAGS had a little competition. At least he had to fight a little bit. I mean, he needed 13. He had 13 signed, so it couldn't have been that hard. Everybody's pretty close. He's got one guy that he signed, a kicker, who was almost 600 miles away. Everybody else, as we would expect down south, is pretty close. He's got great linemen. I keep hitting their freaking name. Keith Williams, Todd Anderson, those guys are really at the top of his class. Anytime you can find a defensive lineman with a guess rating of 78, that guy's going to be good. The average defensive lineman, decent defensive lineman in guess you'll find is somewhere around 75, if not a little lower. So it's nice to see that. He did a great job there picking up that stud, and then you got another stud running back, which is no surprise, but the guy has poor hands, so I don't know what AWAGS is doing with the running back with poor hands when he doesn't run the ball. So interesting to see what he's going to do with him. He did sign a quarterback down here in Anthony Allen with 56, 67, 66 with 50 work ethic. If I know AWAGS, I'm guessing the guy has high potential. It's the only way he's going to be doing anything for him in the long run, and he's only going to probably play his redshirt senior year anyways. But yeah, the rich get richer. That's all that matters. See, he just sent me a text. All right. So we'll see what happens there, but definitely good. Another coach that I want to look at, if I can type, Columbus Buck at Duquesne. Holy cow. All right, well, this is interesting. He needs 11. He's got 29 considering him, which is definitely good. So he's out there throwing out that stuff that we need to get people to consider us. He's battling Texas Southern for a really good running back as far as Division I AA is concerned. He's 1,200 miles away, though, and Texas Southern is only 66 miles away. So I hoped he really saved some money. Yeah, Phil, I'll take a look at Louisville. If you guys want to throw some stuff in there, I'll pull up a bunch of different schools, but definitely let me know what you want to see. And Phil, I think we already looked at yours, but I'm going to look at it again. Anyways, so Duquesne, Columbus Buck, signed a good defensive lineman, battling for that running back. That's a tough battle, right? I hope he saves a lot of money because he's 1,200 miles away and Texas Southern is only 66 miles away. That one's brutal. He does have a defensive lineman who he hasn't signed yet. He's only got one scholarship list to fill. It's really interesting. I'm guessing this guy, his other what's defensive lineman did he actually sign? Any of them? So he needs 11. He's got 10 signed. What freaking? Jason Rivera. No, he didn't sign any of these guys. So he's on a bunch of defensive linemen, but he hasn't actually signed one yet, which is interesting. I don't even know why you're trying to get defensive linemen to consider you if you don't need one or if you're not going to sign one. But anyways, he's definitely got a decent class though. Signed at least a running back down here, so if the other one doesn't work out, he's got obviously a ton of backups he has to choose from. It's hard to tell what his goal was here other than just to get a bunch of people green or considering him. But yeah, I mean, it's a decent class. That's a great area to recruit from. If you look at, somebody posted in the chat, and it was probably GT Deuce because he's the one pulling all the data all the time, and they posted a bunch of spreadsheets, or at least the data that you can put in the spreadsheets, which I have, that show recruit distribution for all the levels. How many players are within different players, 180s, 360s, so forth. How many schools are within them. It's really cool data, and Duquesne's definitely high in that list. So definitely a great way to recruit. Until this board gets a little cleaned up and probably after signings, it's kind of hard to see, what his focus was or what he needed this season, what he was going after. Obviously that battle with Texas Southern, also another battle with Texas A&M, is going to be kind of the really deciding factor of how good his recruit is, but he only has one scholarship left to fill. So, we'll see what happens there, right? He does have a distance disadvantage in both those battles, and he's got a bunch of battles down below as well that we don't need to go over. So it's definitely interesting. All right, you guys are saying he signed D.L. Perkins. Okay, apparently I'm blind. Oh, he's the very top guy. Yeah, so that's his best player. So he must have only needed one, and then all those other guys are backups. So, so we'll see what happens there. But, those other guys, hopefully he has the most potential because those other guys, their stats are pretty close and could end up being better. So we'll see what happens there. But Columbus Buck knows what he's doing. All right. Somebody mentioned something about Holy Cross, so let's bring them up before we get into... Oh, apparently it's 2 words. Before we get into Division 1A battles. All right, so Rodney, what's your GD name? Because you didn't change it to your GD name, so I don't know who you are, who you coach for, but I do know you're in a battle for Holy Cross for a QB. So let's use the process of elimination. Oh, well, you're Columbus Buck. Well, there you go. I did it. Anyway, so Holy Cross is here. Frosty, 8-3-11. Signed a decent class. Holy Cross is a great place to recruit from. I believe that's where AWAGS came from. He was at Division 1 AA, throwing the ball over everybody, but never could make it there, at least win the big game. CJ said it was impossible. Still don't believe him. But anyways, I digress. He needs 10, has 9 signed. He is in a battle for a running back, and he's battling for a QB, which he doesn't have a QB signed, and he does have a running back signed. So I got to imagine his main want or need is going to be that QB. So Columbus Buck, you definitely have, it cut out for you in that battle. You at least have the distance advantage in this one, which is nice. But I got to imagine that's his number one focus is getting that QB signed. So we'll see what happens there. All right, I want to look at some rebuilds here, especially Nitros. He's had a great first couple seasons in Arkansas Pine Bluff, which is another great area to recruit in Wilkinson in Division 1 AA, because if you look around, you don't have a ton of other schools around you Division 1 AA wise, and you also do not have a bunch of Division 1A guys around you, which is nice too. So that's good. Columbus Buck says he won't get him, so I'm guessing he's winning right now, which that's good. He definitely needs a good quarterback. And from Division 1 AA standards, that guy's definitely good. So congrats on that. We'll be looking forward to see that one get wrapped up. All right, so Nitros had some great couple seasons. I think he was in the top 10 with his recruiting class his first season of that rebuild, which the school probably had terrible vision. They hadn't had a coach in forever. So, it's a great coach, obviously, if you just look at what he did at Texas Southern. But he just picks up where he kind of has been leaving off, right? Needs 15, 18 considering him, 12 signed. Great defensive lineman, really good running back. He had 2 really good running backs considering him. I'm assuming he picked the one with the better potential, and he obviously picked the one with the better work ethic. Good offensive lineman, good wide receiver. It's just a solid class all around. Does not look like he didn't sign a QB either. So interesting to see what happens there. I can't tell you Nitros is not as QB reliant as some of the other coaches, especially like AWAGS or myself or Evo who run the shotgun, or even some of those other coaches. I think Tampa Fall is running the shotgun now as well. So he probably doesn't need to get a quarterback every single season like I do. But yeah, that's, it is what it is, and we'll see how it works. But doing a great job there. All right, guys. I think that's all we're probably going to cover. I'm going to jump to Division 1A, and this we'll definitely cover a bunch more classes, but really where it kicks off is when we're talking about battles and different things like that is usually where we start talking about classes and diving into them. Give me 1 second. Let me grab a drink. So bear with the silence and listen to me drink. All right. I need some iced coffee so I could stay up. It's only 7 o'clock here, and I feel like it's midnight. But anyways, all right, QB rankings. Obviously, these are guest rankings. They might not be the same as yours. They're definitely probably not the same as AWAG's, but this is what guest has them rated at. The number one guy came in at Peter Russell. He's got great cores. I mean, he's got 75, 74, and 65. Now, to me, when I look at a QB, I look at strength and game instinct over anything. Technique's nice, but I don't really know how much it really affects anything. Obviously, where you want, work ethic and athleticism, but those first 2 cores, are probably the best of any quarterback on here. He's also got great work ethic. Obviously, it's Ohio State and Michigan, both of them very close, so nobody has a distance advantage here. Ohio State with Roxy, he's been a very, very good recruiter. He's had a couple down seasons, but for the most part, he's been a good recruiter over there at Ohio State. He needs 14. He's got 14 considering him, and he's only signed 13. So he needs this guy who's taking a sim. Lions fan needs 9, signed 6, has 7 considering him. Lions fan, I'd love to hear your take when you listen to this of what went on at Michigan. You had bowl money, came off a good season. So I'd like to see what happened there, or if that was planned. But anyways, if I had to make a judge, Ohio State definitely had more money just from a scholarship standpoint. But Lions fan is a great recruiter like I've seen in the past. So it's anybody's guess who's going to win that battle. I think they both definitely need him. I can tell you that much, and he's definitely a good quarterback. Aaron Jones, who I think is number 1 according to Gridiron and What If Sports, at least as far as when you look at those top 200 ratings. Texas didn't have to fight for him at all. He did test the water to see if he was going to have to. After the first cycle, I took a look at him, and it was him and the 3 sims. And then after that, he just turned him green, and nobody even bothered, right? He's not bad. Obviously, he's decent. He's got 57 work ethic, good cores. I mean, he's going to be a good, solid quarterback for him. Rutgers, Allen, 129, needs 9, has 8 has 9 considering him. So he's definitely in a battle with somebody. Comes in over there. Notre Dame gets a good guy. Miami and DeGoat. Let's take a look at DeGoat's class because the guy had no bowl money. First year in Elite, and he just killed it. But one thing that I learned when I coached Miami is that I'm going to have to look at. We'll just do this. DeGoat. All right. One thing I learned when I coached at Miami is that it's going to be cycles of years, right? So there's going to be the season where you can do what he did and get a top 3 class and not have to go outside your 360 because there's just so many studs around you that it doesn't matter. And there's going to be years where South Florida is pretty dry. And you're going to have to go battle people, and you're going to have to go look for good recruits. He needed 15. He's got 14 signed, 18 considering him. So he's definitely got backups. He's in the battle with Potter for a pretty good DB in Edward Morrison. Definitely, he's going a little bit out, but there's definitely not really a distance advantage there. So it's definitely interesting. But, I mean, look at this. He's 43 miles away, 103, 22, 58, 100, 53, 2, 53, 166, 262, 278, and on and on and on. I mean, the guy just had studs all the way around him. 2 great running backs, 3 great offensive linemen, very good defensive linemen. If this isn't top 3, then I don't know what a top 3 recruiting class is because that's just insane. So hats off to him. I mean, that was already a stacked team. It's a great coach. You guys should all be very, very worried about Miami this season and then definitely in the future because he's loaded. So hats off to him. Who moved to Louisville? It was Osball, right? Yeah, Osball. Osball 19. First year at Louisville, coming over from Navy. Did a great job. Needed 14, has 12 signed, and he's in 2 battles, both of them with Auburn, with War Eagle, who's another good coach. So yeah, it was definitely good. Good lineman, good wide receiver. He's battling for a quarterback, though, so I bet you if he had to pick which one he wants more, it's going to be the quarterback. Auburn should have bowl money. Louisville does not. So it'll be very interesting to see who wins that conference. Or wins that battle, excuse me. Louisville or Auburn. But Oswald definitely killed it. Is a great coach. The Big East is absolutely stacked, so watch out. Another first-year coach who definitely impressed me was Ebel over at South Florida. He killed it in an area he's got to compete with 3 elites in that state. And 2 different non-BCS teams in South Florida and Central Florida. And he put together probably a top 20 class easily. Great offensive lineman, defensive lineman, wide receiver. His QB, I got to imagine that guy's got high work ethic, but he's definitely not bad. And yeah, he's doing well. So it's nice to see somebody like that doing well after he left his stud class in Houston to me and took on the challenge of building up South Florida. All right, guys. Let's see. What else can we go over? I think somebody mentioned talking about the best sim signings, which we can definitely do. I think it's definitely fun, especially now that I'm at Division 1A. It's going to show me how big of a failure I am that I have to take on sims when sims are signing great people. QB-wise, sims don't usually get good QBs, so we don't have to worry about that. But, Iowa got a decent QB. If this guy's got anywhere good potential, he signed a QB better than, 15 QB signed by Division 1A teams. Anybody right here, really. If any of them have good potential, then some people are definitely need to step up their game. So it's interesting. Look at this guy. I told you already I don't consider technique that big of a stat when it comes to quarterback. And this guy's a 67 strength and a 70 game instinct. He's got a little work ethic, but he's got good potential. That guy's definitely going to grow. It'd be definitely interesting to see where that quarterback would end up. So yeah, keep an eye out there. Texas Christian's trying to win over Purdue. Good luck there. Let's go Boilermakers. And Howard and Lehigh are battling down here. So, there's some good quarterbacks signed by Sims there. Running backs. Wyoming got a running back that was rated 77.48. 73, 90, 83, 77 with a 44 work ethic. I guarantee you there's teams that signed way worse running backs than this guy. So, that's crazy. Where was he located? He was in Georgia. You know how many D1A schools are around Georgia who could have probably used that guy? There is a lot. He definitely snuck through the crack there. Liberty's trying to win this one off of Harvard. If Liberty wins this running back, that is a great running back for the Division I AA level. That would be a great win for him. So we'll keep an eye on that. And those are really the best. All these guys are decent, but I'm sure there's enough running backs out there for those other guys to sign and not feel terrible about themselves. Wide receivers. Now this one hurts my heart because I lost number 1 wide receiver to CJ, and it was definitely a learning lesson. We were pretty similar, I believe, in distance. I dropped 65K in him, promised him a freshman start and 75% playing time, and I lost, right? And I really could have took 15 of that K and went and got Larry Palmer, who's a 79.16 guess rating. His speed's low, but his athleticism's high. He's got great hands, elusiveness, and technique. He's got high GPA, so his formation IQs could be really well. It's crazy. It is absolutely insane that happened. And, once again, it's a lesson learned. If you're not using the Yats tool, if you're not looking for sim players to try to boost your roster, then you're wasting money like I did. Even this guy, John Farmer, 74.38. That's his guess rating. But he's got a 47 work ethic. All of his cores are in the 70s. He's got a 90 elusiveness. By the time that's a junior, senior, he's going to be up there. He's going to be a stud wide receiver. If he's got even decent potential, his cores are going to be in the high 70s or the 80s at least, and he's going to be a pretty dominant factor on a starting team. So, lesson learned to all of us. Definitely me. I mean, I definitely could have used that, but I also wanted to see what does it take to win over a BCS school. Obviously, I don't know all the variables. I don't know how much money CJ had to spend in him. I don't think he spent the same amount of me just because of the other battles he was in, but it's definitely interesting. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams that missed him, and he was coming out of Florida. So, there's a lot of people in Florida. I'm surprised Ebel didn't sign him. Like, what the heck? What's going on? I'm sure he probably recruited him and saw that he didn't have the highest potential or whatever to make it, but it's pretty crazy. All right. Tight ends. There's always a lot of tight ends, so, I mean, there's probably not too many crazy ones here. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing crazy. Offensive linemen. This is where a lot of people get tripped up. A lot of people focus so hard on the top offensive linemen just to not start them. It's crazy to me. Like we already talked about Jen. Texas Christian's battling for a sim for 78.89. Mississippi State already signed a 78.36. I mean, I signed worse offensive linemen because I was trying to stick close. That's crazy, I should have really just looked at it and went out and signed one of these guys and really just be patient, right? The key to this is to not panic after the first day of cycles, right? And that's really when you can start looking for these guys is give it a day, maybe a day and a half around noon Eastern time on the second day of recruiting. That's when these sims are pretty safe, right? It's when people pretty much decided who they want, who they're going after, and who's left. And even these guys down here, they're in the 74s. If they got high potential and good work ethic, they're going to be very good offensive linemen. Usually none of your offensive linemen are only starting when they're juniors and seniors, right? So that's 2 seasons you have to get these guys up to 80. Not that hard to do. So definitely interesting there. Be patient and go win those guys. Defensive linemen, these are still good guys too. I already said on the show that to me, a decent and recruitable defensive lineman core rating, guest core rating in Division 1A is 75. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are right around 75. And then the guys right below that are 71 to 73 if they have good potential and good work ethic. They're going to be just as good as those guys in the long run. So, yeah, there's a lot of things left on this table here. I'm not a recruiting genius, obviously. If we take a look at my team, I'm not disappointed in it. I'm not upset with it. But I definitely could have done better if I would have just might help if I take the filters off. If I would have just taken my own advice, right? But I wanted to try some stuff out, try to learn some stuff. One thing I did learn, let's get Bama's recruits out of here. I learned that it's going to be extremely hard for me to knock off BCS teams. And it's going to be extremely hard for me to, find those great stud guys I need. So I'm taking 5 sins. I was planning on taking 3 no matter what because I didn't want to balance this class out a little bit. 18 is a little crazy. I think Ebel was kind of relying on that senior-heavy classes, but I did pretty well. My best players all came 1 mile away, so they were in Houston. Right, 2 offensive linemen. All these guys are pretty good potential. A lot of 3s in here. I don't know why these aren't pulling up, but these guys are all 3s as well. Did I not grab messages again? Anyways, Aaron Davis is high potential, so I got a wide receivers in the 74. I really liked his cores are all 90s. He's got 90, 90, 90 in his core, so that guy's just going to get better with 65 work ethic. He's above average, 65 work ethic, should be a very good wide receiver for me, and was able to get guys close. Even this quarterback, I got him. He was in Houston. He was a mile away, and he's above average with 44 work ethic, and he's got 45, 76, 62. I'd like his strength to get better, but by the time he is a redshirt senior, he's going to be a great quarterback for me. So, I learned a lesson. I spent $65K on one guy who I probably could have turned into 5 really good quality guys. But I learned, what it takes to knock off a BCS school. I learned how the people around me recruit. I know the recruiting areas I need to stick to try to avoid battles. And I know kind of the strategy that the other coaches around me use. So definitely a very good learning lesson for me. All right. Phil is a regular in chat. So we definitely, for some reason his name in here is with a capital. So let's look at how the Make Maryland Great Again TD don't battle BK. Yeah, I know. I'm going to probably have to battle him at least once. If there's one stud guy that I have to get, I'll probably have to bull an e-bull and go broke. But anyways, Phil's a regular. I love Phil. He's always in chat. He's always posting on the forums. He's always in, the Slack chat as well. And he's on a mission to make Maryland great again. My question is, when was Maryland great, Phil? You can't make something great again that was never great. So, but you'll do it. I believe in you. Anyways, signed a pretty good recruiting class here for his first season. Everybody was close. Definitely a pretty good area. He's got a good running back there. Guy's got good work ethic. Not sure what his potential is, but his cores are pretty good. He's got 80 speed, only 69 strength. I like to see that a little bit higher, but 30 elusiveness. Hopefully you can get that guy in the open field, let him run. Defensive offensive lineman and not a bad team. The good news is you got 11 at 11. That's all you need. That's absolutely all you need. So yeah, Noah Sims, good first season. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. See where you thought you could have done better, where you think you could have improved on, or maybe what you learned. But nice to see. All right, guys. Who else is in here? Is there anybody I haven't talked about who's in here? Nitros, I talked about you. You're going to have to go back and look. Rodney, Phil, Husker. I think that's it. I know there's more people watching, but yeah, guys, I think we'll wrap this up. It'll be oh yeah, that's right. You didn't recruit. You're recruiting for somebody else, right? And then McBether was covering for you. Well, hopefully he can tell you what he learned from recruiting there, and get you taken care of. But yeah, guys, go check out the forums. Like I said, if you already read the maze, go read it again and check out the Division I AA stuff they're added to it. Jag did a great job there. Keep checking the forums for some new content. We're definitely going to... Oh, don't worry about Nitros. That's why we record these things, so you can never miss it. We're definitely going to have a show next week after signings are over, after recruiting's over, sorry. And we'll go through the top 25 guest teams. We'll go over some surprise teams. It'll be better, to look at the rankings for the rebuilds, how things are going. We can pull up Nitros and see how he's done his first 3 seasons there recruiting-wise. And really take a deeper dive. But definitely wanted to get on here and do a show after my long couple days. It's definitely a nice break to talk to you guys. I think it's fun. There's some great recruiting classes out there. I think we're in for a hell of a season between some of these elites and some of the talent they have. Miami, Penn State, Alabama, Oklahoma's got a good squad, and then just the Big East. The Big East in general, it's going to be a pretty crazy season, Division 1A. And it'll be fun to watch who actually comes out on top in that Big East conference. So definitely go check everything out. Husker fan says there might be a follow-up maze, so go check that out. I'm sure he'll announce it when there is, and we'll go from there. But thank you so much, guys, for chiming in. I'll play a little bit of music. I mean, I think everybody's in the Slack chat, so we probably don't have to do too much. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But let me get some music for you guys just to see you out. Everybody have a safe weekend. Yeah, enjoy your holiday, and I will see you next week.
With a deader deal, this whole soul's going down. Oh, I sing 'em real pretty, sing 'em real sad, and all the people in the crowd say ain't happy. Wasn't that call me King Turd up here from Shit Mountain? If you want it, you can have a crown. Well, I've been sitting on my ass like a bump on a log, watching Andy and old Boss Hog. I guess ought to get up and go out and find a job. Instead of sitting on the couch trying to find the next line, I'm sure there's gotta be better use of my time, like figuring out which one of them banks I'm gonna go rob. Well, the name of the game is hurry up and wait low, but that ain't putting no food on my plate or gas in my car. And I drive a Bronco. Oh, now Lord, if I could just give me a record deal, I might not have to worry about my next meal, but I'd still be trying to figure out what the fuck wrong with Bronco. Oh, now Lord, if you can hear me, won't you throw a damn dog a bone? 'Cause if a devil shows up with a better deal, his old soul's go down. Oh, I sing 'em real pretty, sing 'em real sad, and all the people in the crowd say you ain't half bad. Well, they call me King Turtle, Harold Shit Mountain. If you want it, you can have the crown. Well, call me King Turtle, Harold Shit Mountain. If you want it, you can have the crown. Oh, I'm getting pretty tired of staring things all in. Sometimes I feel like cutting the vein, just watching it bleed. Oh, I'm tired of letting it down, get nothing on the other end. And people only want to be your friend, got something they need. Oh, I'm getting pretty tired of being treated like competition, when the only one that can hold me down is inside my head. Oh, what's the honk you gotta do around here? Get a little recognition. Starting to think you might be worth more to everybody if I was dead. Oh, now some days you kill it, and some days you just choke. Some days you blast off, some days you just smoke. Oh, now maybe I do, Lord, maybe I don't. Everybody says to be there, but and y'all know they won't. Oh, I'm getting pretty tired, sitting around wasting time. And I'm tired of taking blame when I ain't done nothing wrong. Oh, I'm tired of other people trying to take what's mine. Well, I'm tired of y'all playing dress up and trying to